Abortion is a very controversial issue, raising debate across the world. Abortion is a common medical procedure used worldwide to terminate a pregnancy early. In Australia, abortion is a state law, meaning each state has a right to decide whether it should or should not be legal in their state. Since 2008, according to Victoria's Abortion Law Reform Act, abortions are legal up to 24 weeks. After 24 weeks, if the physical well-being of the mother is threatened, with two doctors' approval, an abortion can be performed. Prior to this, abortions were only legal if the mother's life was in jeopardy. Suction aspiration is the most common and effective form of abortion. Using a thin plastic tube, the linings and the contents of a woman's uterus are removed by applying suction. A non-surgical option of abortion is to take pills. Mifepristone blocks the hormone progesterone, causing the lining of the uterus to break down. Misoprostol causes the womb to contract and to cause bleeding and the loss of the fertile egg. In 2017, Australia had a population of almost 25 million people. It is estimated that each year, 85,000 women have an abortion in Australia. This means that there are about 230 abortions each day. 3 out of 10 women will have an abortion each year, and 1 out of 3 women will have an abortion in their lifetime.
There are many controversial opinions that surround the abortion debate, with two main sides to each argument, the debate of pro-life and the debate of pro-choice. And then we have the Donald Trump argument, where he states that women who obtain abortions should be punished.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion, yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
10 cents?
For the purpose of this video, his argument will be invalid. These opinions are not based on evidence and facts, but rather the individual's emotions, which takes this debate to a whole nother level. People's opinions on whether they believe in pro-life and pro-choice is all dependent on their upbringing, personal experience, values, religion, and their morals. Those who are pro-life believe that the killing of a fetus within the womb is morally wrong and considered an act of murder. Their argument is based on the concept that a fetus is considered human at the moment of conception. Despite cultural background, pro-life advocates simply believe that abortion is wrong. Just as wrong in the same sense that killing and stealing is in any society. However, there are some killings that can be justified. This leads us to the middle part of the abortion debate spectrum. For example, justifiable killings are undertaken through self-defense and war. And the abortion of a baby if the pregnancy of the child holds a greater threat to the mother's life. It involves the decision of whether to save the mother's life or to save the life of the baby. This is where pro-choice comes into play. It is entirely up to the decision of the people who are involved. Pro-choice advocates have an increased focus on parents who do not want to have a child, taking into account the fact that giving birth to an unwanted child will cause many future implications, such as harming the career prospects of the mother as well as the increased financial risks that are involved. Pro-choice advocates also believe that it is about giving the mother an autonomous right to decide whether she would like to keep or abort the child. When an abortion right is taken away from a woman's autonomous right is also taken away.
The majority of the arguments for and against abortion are opinion-based, but each case has ethical implications. The main arguments against abortion focus on the right of the child and claim that abortion is terminating a life. Arguments for suggest that the mother has the right and choice to terminate her pregnancy. However, the lines are often blurred when it comes to abortion and if it is right or wrong. According to the Australian Survey of Social Attitudes 2009, 60% of Australian adults claim they saw nothing wrong at all with abortion if the child had some form of defect. And this is where many of the for and against arguments stem from. Some believe strongly that the child's quality of life must be considered. The UK Human Fertilisation and Embryology Act of 1990 states that abortion is permissible if there is a substantial risk that if the child were born it would suffer from such physical or mental abnormalities as to be seriously handicapped. However, this then raises opposing views that ask what defines handicapped. Community nurse Kira Jones and ethics advisor Chris Challoner wrote in their article, Ethics of Abortion, the Arguments for and Against, that this can be seen as legal but unethical. Regarding the professional and clinical issues surrounding abortion, a main issue that is faced is finding a clinician to perform the abortion. This can be seen from issues faced at a county hospital in California, 1996, where their obstetrician who performed abortions became unavailable, and the hospital struggled to find someone to replace them. Of the residents working in the obstetrics and gynecology department, only one was willing to complete the procedures. However, this one resident was not qualified to perform unassisted second trimester procedures. The hospital faced a tough ethical dilemma, as each time they approached a qualified clinician, they would receive flat refusals, as few believed in performing the procedure and were legally allowed to decline service if they were to sign a declaration specifying they had moral, ethical, or religious objection. This case demonstrates how the law can almost contradict its stance on abortion services, as there are laws in place that state care must be provided to those who are seeking to terminate their pregnancy, but also allows for care to be refused. This is still very much present today, as in Australia the Catholic Church has influence on political and moral issues as it is the dominant religion of the country. Christianity views abortion as morally and ethically wrong, so when the Abortion Law Reform Act of 2008 was announced, the Catholic Church threatened to shut down Catholic hospitals if the law was passed, arguing that it was a breach of Section 14 of the Victorian Charter of Human Rights and Responsibilities, as it was seen to silence their freedom of religion and freedom of conscience.
We must ask ourselves, which side of this argument do we support? And to do this, we must determine which side is most ethical. Is it the pro-life supporters for taking into account all persons, even the unborn fetus? Or is pro-choice the one with the most ethical argument, vouching for women to have access to all of their options? The main focus around this topic is on the matter of when life truly begins. And of course, everyone has a slightly different opinion.
I think the beginning of life is when you have a heartbeat.
I think you could say that human life probably begins when a fetus becomes somewhat identifiable and systems are developing.
When they're born, it's the moment that you come to the world. Yeah.
These opinions are often formed due to personal experience or emotions towards abortion. Because of this, many people feel very strongly about their beliefs and can cause them to be ignorant to others' opinions on this matter. Once we begin to respect each side of this argument, only then will we be able to come to a uniform decision on abortion.